The Renaissance did not unfold solely under the shadow of the church. Palaces, kings, and powerful families were also among the greatest patrons of art. But this patronage was rarely born from pure love of beauty. More often, it served power, prestige, and political ambition. In Florence, the Medici family changed the destiny of art. Cosimo de' Medici, Lorenzo de' Medici. They were not only bankers, but also the most influential figures in politics and culture. Artists such as Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci worked under their patronage. Every painting hung on the walls of the Medici palace, every sculpture commissioned, carried a hidden message. Our power is eternal. Art became one of the most effective instruments of political authority. Venice told a different story, though equally fascinating. Enriched by trade, the Republic sought to display its grandeur through art. Palace paintings, splendid canals, magnificent ceremonies all proclaim the wealth and might of Venice. Artists like Bellini and Titian not only created beauty, they built Venice's international image through their work. In France, kings used their court painters not merely for decoration but to immortalize their reigns. King Francis I invited Leonardo da Vinci to France and hosted the master in his final years. Leonardo's genius was not only artistic but also political, a symbol of prestige. For kings, every portrait, every fresco was a statement to subjects and rivals alike. Our power is everlasting. Yet behind the magnificence of the courts lay webs of intrigue. Artists often lived at the mercy of their patrons' whims. A painter's future could depend entirely on the favor of a powerful family or king. Fail to deliver the desired work, or fall short of expectations, and an artist could be disgraced or even exiled. Even Michelangelo felt the weight of Medici influence. The powerful figures in his works were not only products of artistic vision or religious devotion, they were symbols of political might. Leonardo da Vinci moved from Florence to Milan to France, constantly entering the service of new patrons. His journey was not only one of artistic exploration but also of survival within the shifting game of power. Works of art themselves sometimes carried hidden political messages. A detail in the architecture behind a portrait, the glance of a figure in a fresco, or even a choice of color could symbolize the strength of a patron or a challenge to a rival. Yet artists also had their own games to play. Some fulfilled commissions by glorifying their patrons, while secretly embedding personal symbols in the background. These subtle touches were acts of quiet defiance, small ways of preserving individuality within the machinery of power. Intrigues were not limited to paintings and portraits. The very architecture of the palaces embodied political struggles. The Medici palaces in Florence, the papal palaces in Rome, the Loire in France, these were not simply architectural marvels. They were monuments of dominance, physical embodiments of authority. In the Renaissance, art could not be separated from politics. A painter's brush shaped not only colors but also the balance of power. A sculpture was not merely carved stone but a reflection of a dynasty's might. And today, as we stand before these works, we witness more than beauty. We see the echoes of history's intrigues, the silent battles for power that played out on walls and canvases. Every court portrait, every fresco, every statue was more than art, it was a weapon in the struggle for dominance. Perhaps this is why, when we look at Renaissance art, we glimpse not only aesthetic brilliance but also one of humanity's oldest stories, the endless fight for power. Art was the brightest weapon in that struggle and at the same time, one of the heaviest chains that bound the artist's soul.